but I want to point out what is the value of this presentation and this experiment to us and to the students, because they may be confused. First of all, this is presented for the computer networks class. So networking technologies are of primary interest to us, and SCADA protocols. I guess the most widely known protocol for SCADA is Modbus, but Modbus is a very old standard, so it has been extended significantly, and nowadays is Modbus over TCP and so on. But another protocol which was mentioned here is under the acronym IEC 61850. So that is something which is important to us in this class. Plus, also the role of SCADA here to collect data, you know, like the multitude of measurement points, and you mentioned that this system may have had some 5,000 signals. The entire installation has around 100,000 signals, so that gives the students an idea what is at stake. Plus, other functions of SCADA, in addition to data acquisition, like measurements and control, it's to store the data. And the term which the SCADA people use for the database is an historian to store the history of the data values and analyze this. So this is also a background function of SCADA. So networking technologies are the primary point of interest to us and to the students in this group. The other point is that these are software engineering students, so software development and maintenance is of interest here. And of course, at the user level, you don't use languages like C or other programming languages. You use scripting languages, as Mateusz mentioned, to develop your user applications. Plus, as a side effect, we also saw how a real world HMI looks like, how a real world GUI as a front end to access the system looks like. So that is a very important lesson also, not for our class, but for a parallel class which these students are taking right now, which is on human-machine interfaces, which another faculty, a colleague of mine, is teaching. And also in the software development and maintenance part, which is my second point, what is important to us is see how a remote operation and can be done to conduct an experiment. This is important for us from the software development and maintenance perspective, how this has been programmed, you know, on the original system. Plus, of course, this is with some difficulty which the students have had, I'm sure, to understand the real operation of the electrical grid, where a lot of domain knowledge is required. So that's the third point which I want to make, that in reality, you will not only rely, when you graduate from software engineering program, you will not only rely on your knowledge of software development and maintenance, you will need to understand the principles of the domain for which you are developing your software. So here we had a very good example of the domain knowledge for energy generation and distribution, which we have no idea about as students unless we studied that before. But the additional value in this area is the component of the entire grid, which is a solar plant, which we have at FGCU in our school. It's a PV plant, as the students called it. So we also have, and I'll send you the link, which I forgot, to the solar plant website, which we developed, our students developed. And the last point, which I want to make, because our time is about to expire, is which we didn't have to cover that much, is the safety issues, because electrical grid has a lot of safety issues, which you sort of mentioned at the end by trying to shut this down, but that was all legitimate. In fact, SCADA systems have to be protected very thoroughly regarding the secure access, right? Because that may impact safety very negatively. So these are my 4 comments about network technologies, about software development approach, about domain knowledge, and about safety of SCADA system. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Zaleski. I couldn't explain it better. So thank you for your brilliant comments, and thank you for your interest in our system, and thank you that you convinced your university to use the opportunity to connect to Poland. And I'm very glad to have this cooperation between Technical University of Gdańsk and Florida Gulf Coast University. I wish you all the best, and thank you very much.